Good evening. My name is Adam Brzezowski. I'm the 10th grade principal here at Lorain High School. I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. Just want to go over some important information so that you are aware of some of the things that are going on when it comes to attendance, grades, and things of that nature to make sure our students are progressing properly through high school and getting done again to graduation on time. So there's going to a couple topics we'll go through and talk about tonight. Quickly introduce our team, look at graduation requirements, credits in terms of if you're a 10th grader where you should be, 11th grader where you should be, so that you're on track. The attendance protocols, some student supports that we have here at the school, a couple days to remember, and just kind of being connected and working together. When it comes to the building, like I said, I'm the 10th grade principal. Our head principal is Miss Cheers. She's at a train crossing right now, got stopped on the way over here. Mr. Brian Hilko works with our seniors. He's also our building administrator. He helps out in a lot of different manners. Mr. Kenny Geddes, he is the principal for Success Academy. So in instances where we have students that fall behind credits and are not on track, and it's looking like they possibly might not graduate on time, there are different options that we have. One of those options are for students to go over to Success Academy, catch up on their credits, get back on track, and graduate. Miss Amanda Sturgeon is our Director of Early College and Coordinator of Career Tech Education. So she's very involved when it comes to students that are taking college classes here at the high school, getting degrees and things of that nature, as well as now in charge of our CTE vocational programs and getting those certifications. Ninth grade, our kids are past it, but Miss Tammy Jones is in charge of ninth grade. Mr. Julio Rivera, we'll be talking tonight as well, is our 11th grade principal. And in October, when he comes back, Mr. Jama will be working with our seniors as well. So those are just some names in case you need somebody to talk to for something very specific. That's who you'll be looking for.
All right, thank you everyone for coming this evening. Like Mr. Rosowski said, some of the things that we wanted to make sure to communicate to everyone was, really the high school experience and what were some of the things that your child here at Lorain High needs to accomplish. And when we were sort of planning, what information we needed to provide, just kind of how it falls, right? Freshmen get a lot of support because they're coming to the high school and we really watch what they're doing. Then obviously seniors are on their way out, and we want to make sure that they graduate and get the high school diploma. So between 10th and 11th, we're like, okay, how can we explain? How can we make sure that parents understand what needs to get accomplished? So this one is a big deal, graduation requirements, and this comes from the state of Ohio, right? So pretty much every school district follows this, with the exception of maybe one credit or two when some districts have some other classes that they want their students to take. So most important part here is to be able to graduate. There are three things that your student needs to accomplish. The first one, which will be to your left, is earning the 20 credits. So here in Lorain, you need to earn 20 credits, and they're very specific credits. So as you can see in there, you need the 4 language arts, half a credit of health, 4 in math, half a credit in PE, 3 credits in science, 3 credits in social studies, and then 5 credits in electives, right? You are able to pass all that. That means you're on track. You have checked one of the requirements for graduation. Another requirement that you need, you have to be able to, can you go to the next one, Dave? Is there another? Yeah, right at the bottom, kind of explains it a little bit differently. To be able to graduate, your student must earn a competency score of 684 or higher in English Language Arts 2, the ELA OST assessment, or Algebra 1, which again is 684. So ELA 2, they take it in 10th grade, Algebra 9th grade. So those are the 2 tests. They take a bunch of tests. They take about 7 or 8 tests, and those tests are also important because they can get seals, which is then the 3rd requirement that they need to earn, right? So taking the biology class and the history and all those government, that also allows them to earn different seals. The seals is that 3rd aspect that they need to be able to graduate, okay? So with the seals, we can support them. We are able to follow that. We're able to help that, as far as we're concerned, not a huge deal. The biggest concern for us is the 20 credits, okay? Making sure that our students are able to earn 20 credits. And we'll show you guys here in a minute, honestly, how easy that can be, but how important it is for our ninth graders and our 10th graders to be on track, okay? If, going back to the other slide, if your student is not able to show the competency of scoring a 684 on ELA and or algebra, then they still receive a high school diploma by following what we call it an alternative path, and that will be earning some of the seals, okay? So again, our biggest sort of concern is making sure that we have the 20 credits. The other things, we can help you out. Junior year, senior year, we can support you, we can get you there. It's having the 20 credits that's the most important part, because if you get to senior and you're kind of short, that will be the challenge, and that's like Mr. Brasowski said, that's when we start looking at Success Academy and being able to get you to earn credits, in a different manner. So here, I'll go this one. Yeah, here, just to kind of give you an idea, it's very simple. 10th graders, to be on track, so that when they come out in the ninth grade, right, so they rise up to be 10th graders, they need to have 5 credits, okay? Last year, they were able to earn at least 8, okay? This year, we're changing the schedule, right? We have 7 periods. Yeah, they still could earn 8, depending. They might have a class in there or 2 that's a semester or 2 semesters, so they can earn extra credit. But this year, they can earn up to 7, okay? So if we do the math really quickly, if you earn 7 credits every year, you can have 28 credits. So going back to getting to the 20, it's not that tricky as long as we, stay on track. So if you have a 10th grader, they should have at least 5 credits. If you have an 11th grader, to be on track to graduation, we are asking them to have at least 10 credits. And again, if they were focused, they could have up to 16 already. So the 20 credits, it's not a challenge as long as we're staying on track. Let's see what else from that end. I think that's good. I should probably talk about this one. Attendance. I am sort of responsible for the attendance, so I'll talk to you guys about this as well. House Bill 410, so it's a state law that we have to essentially keep track of attendance. So when you receive those calls, 9:15, and we'll talk about sometimes what that means from your parent perspective, you're thinking that your student is here at school. Basically, at 38 hours, you're going to receive a letter stating that you have missed 38 hours. I'll be honest, 38 hours is not that much. Then after that, between 65 and 72 hours, then you get another letter from us, and that's when we'll have to meet, where we can talk to you and ask to see if there's any help or any supports that you need from us. That way your student can make it to the high school on time. But like I said, that's not very challenging. In a school day, we have about, 6 hours and 45 minutes. So getting to 65 hours is not very difficult to get to. So that's why when we have our attendance meetings, which we'll give you a call, we'll send you a letter, sometimes it's just a matter of come, talk to us. Like I said, last year I was super sick, and we were just talking about it, so I understand that. It's just more like if there's a challenge, we want to make sure that we can help you and we can support you. Yeah, so here is just another way that we sort of explain the attendance with the being 68 hours, 38 hours, 72 hours.
Real quick, when it comes to the attendance part, a lot of times we have parents that are kind of misinformed. When you think of the hours, they're not days absent. So if you have a student who's late every day, let's just say, and comes into school at 9 o'clock, that means for every day that child's absent, they're missing an hour and a half. And those times accumulate as well. So when you're looking at, like, if the 38-hour letter, that's kind of like 6 or 7 days of school. Well, my child hasn't missed 6 days of school. No, but she has 15 tardies that have now accumulated to that time requirement. Okay? So it's not just full days absence. It also accumulates when a child is out of school, even with early dismissals. That time that they're away from school, that does accumulate. So again, when you get to 38 hours, you'll get a letter of notification. This is where your child is. When you hit the 72-hour mark, now in between the 38-hour and the 72-hour mark, you'll be receiving phone calls from the school. You'll be receiving postcards from the school, just kind of keeping you abreast of where the students are. But if they hit that 72-hour threshold, then a letter will come. Again, like Mr. Rivera said, inviting you to a meeting to try to kind of find a plan to put in place to make sure that those students are in school when they need to be here. One thing, too, is once you have the AIT meeting, once you hit that 72-hour mark, the idea is to improve that student's attendance. So if there is improvement that takes place from that student and we could show that, then we'll keep working towards that. Once the plan is put in place, if there's a continued missing of school or if school absences increases, the potential does exist through this law that charges can be placed for truancy with the courts, and then that will become a court matter as well. So just kind of keep that in mind as well. That's not our goal in any way, shape, or form. Our goal is to have the kids in school, getting their credits, getting them across the stage, and celebrating at graduation in 2 or 3 years, depending on what grade they're in. But just please keep that in mind.
And with, like Mr. Rosowski said, obviously our goal is absolutely not to file truancies, but if we get to that point, and like I said, it's kind of easy to get there. We get sick and we have emergencies. I'll be the one calling, so I just want to make sure I say this right. We want to make sure that you attend that attendance meeting. We call it AIT, because that's really when we can talk to you and communicate with you that, hey, they were just sick. There's really not much going on. We don't need any supports right now. We're okay. We just got sick. That's good. But if it's an issue, right, a constant issue that students are missing, then that's where the potential or file of truancy charges, can come into place. But again, our number one goal is to support you, to help you, and make sure that your daughter or son are coming to Lorain High. So speaking of that, here's some of the things that we are able to offer your student here at Lorain High when it comes to student support. We will have some tutoring services available being provided by Lorain City School teachers. We'll be getting that soon as we can. You, Mr. Brosowski, will be running that, so you will be receiving some information coming from Mr. Brosowski. Here, once we get the school started and once we start, seeing what kind of support our student needs, that's where we'll get the tutoring schedule available. We have wellness coaches. If anyone is very familiar with the high school, that will be Coach Hopewell or Mr. Grissom, are two of the coaches here at the high school that support our students with basic needs, with mentoring. So that will be another support for our student. We have a couple of social workers as well that can help with that, with your student if they need anything, if they're struggling with anything, so we can have conversations with them and support. Obviously, the guidance counselors and Big Brothers, Big Sisters, another program that Mr. Basowski is in charge of, and I can let him talk to you a little bit about that if you would like.
Yeah, Big Brothers and Big Sisters, we've partnered with them over the last few years. They as well at times do provide some additional tutoring that if a kid for whatever reason feels more comfortable there, they sometimes have opportunities to work with those individuals as well. But they do provide some after school programming that goes beyond the normal school day, working, just general skills, where the skills to get involved in the workforce and making connections for after school is over. They kind of conclude the year with a program where they take kids off campus. They're meeting with kids from all kinds of different high schools throughout the county, and they do this big kind of symposium where they're meeting with business leaders and civic leaders and kind of getting some more insight for them as individuals on how to be leaders and how to be successful once they kind of branch off from high school and get into the real world, so to speak. So they'll be doing some sign-ups. Generally, what we'll do is we'll meet with all 10th grade classes. They kind of target one grade level. They complete a survey, and then students who show interest have the ability to sign up once that takes place. If we're talking about 11th grade students who want to take part, they will accept them as well. A lot of times they'll have kids that go through the program multiple years. As far as parent partnerships, being connected, visit the Lorain City Schools website. There you'll be able to find our teacher information. Be in contact with teachers as much as you want to. Probably the easiest, fastest way is through email if you're trying to reach out. Phone calls, obviously, during the day, if teachers are teaching classes, it's going to be hard to get back to you. It's a lot quicker, a lot faster if they get back to you through email. So you'll be able to find them there. Big one is final forms. That's the kind of requirement when you register, and then every year you have to update. That's your address, your phone numbers. Big thing is who can pick up your kid. Kid's sick. I'm at work. I can't come pick them up. If you don't have somebody listed on there to pick them up, whether it's your sister, your brother, your grandma, grandpa, whoever, if they're not listed there, we cannot release your child to that person. So anybody who you may think might be required to come pick your child up at some point in time, even if they never do, it's important that you list them there so that we're able to release them. Final forms is also important because some classes go on field trips. If they're going on a field trip, a student has to have their final forms complete. For those of you that remember, those are the old emergency medical forms that we used to have in school that we had to have filled out. Took them home on paper the first day of school, had to bring them back. All electronic now. So, but it's good for the whole year. It's good for sports. If a child wants to play sports, that has to be completed before they can participate in that as well. That's also, you can find that on the website as well. And Power School, staying connected in terms of what your child is doing academically. If you can't find it, call the school. I'll be more than happy to send that information to you via email. It'll provide you with your login information. This gives you 24-hour-a-day access to your students' grades, and it's up to date, as well as, as soon as the teacher puts the grades in there and saves that button, it updates. So anytime that you check on it, you're getting real-time feedback of what your child is doing in each and individual class.
Yeah, and one thing, every grade level does some things a little bit differently. Each grade level, we have to sort of focus on something. And as I mentioned with 11th grade, they're really close to being seniors. So my goal is to make sure they get to 12th grade with as many credits as they can. So one thing that I started doing at the end of last year that I will continue to do this year will be every 2 weeks or so, I will be sending out a phone call with any student that has an F in a class or an incomplete, which essentially it's an F. That's something for you to be aware, to be honest, right? A lot of times, right, we're all busy. We don't have time to check Power School often, and you ask your kid, how you doing? And they're like, it's all good. And then they're not so good. So it worked out, oftentimes, the kids will be like, hey, why'd you call my mom? Well, because you had an F, and I need you to make sure you get that out of there and you earn that credit. So, you will be receiving that call. Again, just a little bit of accountability on our end, but also on your, students' end. That way they can get back, turn that work in, and earn those credits. If you would like, as Mr. Brasowski said, Power School access, just give us a call. We'll give you your information, and we can get that access for you. Cell phone policy. So today was our first day with everyone was here. This is not new. Basically, our policy has been away for the day during classroom time. But let's talk about that a little bit because, I think it's important to know why this has came about. So essentially last year, the governor signed a law stating that school districts needed to have a policy about cell phones in the classroom, okay? For the most part, every school district had a policy, but, how loose or how much they follow, it depended on school districts. We are a huge building here. We were actually talking earlier. We have about between 18 and 2,000 students between the high school and Sussex Academy, right? So, we, as an administrative team, came up with off and away during classroom time. Then, where you're in your hallway, you can get back on your phone. When you're in the cafeteria, you could do that. Well, that was last year. Now, the governor sort of updated that bill and that law, and basically stating that all phones should be away and basically banned from schools starting in January of 2026. Okay, so some of our conversations have been, hey, we're going to start with the continuing with the off and away. But at some point, we're going to have to reach that point that having to follow the law of being off and away and banned off during the whole day, according to the law. Now, from our end, I can talk about it's not only phones, it's headphones, any electronic devices, really. Headphones, AirPods, watches, any electronic devices, all of that, according to the law, is banned. All your students will receive a Chromebook. We're working through that right now. So in the next few days, they will have Chromebooks, so they will have access to any educational websites and anything technology-wise that they need in the classroom through their Chromebook. So it's very important to make sure that, we don't lose those, that we charge those, that we bring those. With the cell phone policy as well, how we're handling it, most of our students have known that for some time now. So essentially, they are given to us. If they take it out, they give it to us. We hold the phone. The student will pick it up at the end of the day. If it's the second offense, then at that point, then it will be a parent pickup, right? The first offense, we will give you a call as well, right? And I'll be honest, right? Last year, we were kind of implementing that. We were like, okay, how is this going to go? But I didn't have any problems with parents. Parents will be like, nope, I told them, put that phone away, right? Oftentimes, it was the student and they didn't want to give it up. And they thought that once I called mom and dad will back them up. And next thing you know, there's the kid, handing me the phone, So, again, that's part of the accountability with everyone. As far as consequence, look, honestly, we don't want to consequence students for doing that. But at the same time, it becomes not even you don't want to give me the phone. It just becomes more about, well, now you're being defiant if you don't want to give me the phone. If you don't, we're spending too much time on that. So consequences could be, out of school suspension. And usually that's when they think that if I call mom and dad will be like, no, supporting them or whatever. But mom and dad know that the important thing is you're in school, you're learning, you shouldn't be on your phone. There's nothing happening during that time. It's 8:50. What are you doing, right? You should be doing math, social studies, science, and ELA or whatever class it is. So I wait for the day for now. But, be on the lookout for updates on how we're going to accomplish following the law from the Governor DeWine, when it comes to cell phone policy.
Okay, just real quick, just a couple dates kind of leading us into the first semester that you guys should want to know. First one is October 9th. That's going to be our fall parent-teacher conference. That'll be held after school. The exact hours will go out. There'll be plenty of information. You'll get robocalls, emails, and different kinds of notification for those parent-teacher conferences. Highly encourage you to come in and attend those. You'll get some firsthand information of what's actually going on in class. Good time to meet, talk with the teachers, share any concerns that you have that you need to have addressed as far as your students concerned. Second one there is October 18th. I only put that in there because homecoming's coming around then, and students like to participate, attend homecoming. So keep that in mind because you got outfits and dresses and tickets and all that stuff. So just want to keep you guys aware when that's coming about. End of the first grading period is October 23rd. And then that end of that first semester is when we come back shortly after Christmas break in January. Again, I implore you that at any point in time that you are concerned of anything that's going on, reach out to their teachers. Their emails are available to you straight from the website. If you have problems getting in contact, do not hesitate to call myself or Mr. Rivera. We'll be more than happy to put together a meeting if you'd like, a phone conversation, whatever the case might be, to make sure that you get the information that you are desiring.
And just one quick thing. It really sort of was the biggest challenge for our senior this year because, they were on the old block schedule for 3 years. So now going into this year, we had to make sure that credit-wise and all that stuff aligned. Because here, normally, right, in the past, by the end of the second grading period, it was the semester end, so the core classes was over. But now, those most classes, but for sure the core classes will last the whole year, right? So our students are not used to that, so that's something that we wanted to make sure to communicate with that. Even though ninth grade and 10th grade had those core classes for the full year, that was a challenge. So if you had an older son or daughter here, just know that that's a little bit of a change now where, it's the whole year. Before we do that, one thing that we wanted to talk about, which I think it was important, the truancy part, as far as like office referrals. Um, a lot of the referrals that we get, which we're kind of happy about, that they're not, disrespectful or profanity, is none of that. It's skipping. And we're talking about 90+% of them, and we're talking about 2,000 referrals or something like that, okay? So that's the biggest challenge that we have. Students not going to the classroom, spending time in, I don't know where, in the bathrooms maybe, but please rest assured that we also check the restrooms. So, we're constantly checking that. But that is our biggest challenge. So if you could speak to your son or daughter, make sure we make it to a class on time. That is definitely our biggest challenge. And as an administrative team, we are looking at some ways on how to manage that. Again, different schedule this year, so there's a lot more movement. So, if we are telling your son or daughter, oh, they're always telling us to keep moving, there's, 17, 1,800 kids moving pretty much 6 times, 7 times a day. So we, along with our safety, are telling kids to keep moving and having them to go to class because that's the biggest challenge. If you're not in class, you're not going to be able to pass the class. So that's why we want to make sure that they are in class. Here, as Mr. Brasowski said, just working together. If you'd like to take a picture here, that is my email. I didn't put my phone number. I apologize. Email is JURivera for me at lorainschools.org, and for Mr. Brasowski is abrasowski@lorainschools. You can just give us a call, send me an email. If there's anything that we can do for you, for your child, to make sure that we are supporting them and getting them on track to graduate, that is our number one goal, along with their, mental health and well-being.
Another thing too, aside from grades and everything like that, if your child comes home and has an issue, and we all know in this day and age, kids don't like to tell on other kids and this, that, and the other. But if you have an issue that's going on and you're aware of, by all means, please reach out. When it comes to issues, and it's, I don't like the term myself, but bullying and things of that nature, kids being harassed for any reason, please reach out. I know between myself, Mr. Rivera, Mr. Hilco, Ms. Cheers, nobody here will tolerate that kind of behavior. It's, I've had 3 kids come through school. I wouldn't want my kids going through that. I don't want anybody else's kids going through that. So if there is something going on that they're sharing at home, or you suspect or overhear, I will be more than happy to investigate that to find out all the information I can and handle that as quick as possible. So if there's anything going on, please, please, please reach out. And if there, the child's going through something, like we went through earlier, we have wellness coaches, social workers here on site, our school counselors. We will find somebody to help them with whatever they're going through. So please, by all means, reach out. We have other resources. If you need help, reach out. We'll get you in touch with different agencies that can try to assist with whatever might be going on at any particular time.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, absolutely, don't wait too late. If there's something that you hear, we want to make sure that your daughter or son are safe in here, that they feel comfortable, that they come and that they're ready to learn, and they're not worried about, a friend or an ex-friend that's trying to bother them, anything like that. So just please let us know, and we'll investigate the best we can. We are experts investigators. So please, if there's something going on, and we'll be able to talk to you. Just so you know, right, depending on what the situation is, we may not be able to tell you, what the other party said or what the consequence was, but rest assured that we are going to make sure that your son or daughter feels safe because that's our number one goal. Ms. Churchman? Yep.
Good evening. I just appreciate you coming out. Um, your child is our priority, and we don't take that lightly. As a comprehensive high school, I'm proud to say that we have everything here to offer your child to make sure that they're not only meeting the graduation requirements, but we're able to get your child college and career ready. We have so many resources, and even outside of Big Brothers Big Sisters, we have a variety of community partnerships. We have a lot of scholarships that we offer our students and a lot of programs, and we continue to build each year with new courses and new career tech offerings. We have our college program continues to grow, and we are seeing school improvement. We have the highest graduation rates that we have had in over 15 years, and our students continue, the number of students that continue to be on track for graduation continues to rise, and we cannot do that without you. So I just want to thank you. I call it Titans Together. I'm a proud graduate of Lorain High School many, many, many years ago, and times have changed. And so just to get our students to believe in themselves and know that, listen, you could take advantage of everything we have here. We're here to support you, and we'll make it happen. So once again, we need you. I appreciate you. Please continue to keep the communication open, and it is very important that we have a correct phone number, email address. We want to communicate. Look out for Facebook communication as well, and if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We have an open door. So thank you. Have a good night, and we hope that your child has a phenomenal school year here at Lorain High.
Oh yeah, I know. We talked a lot, so we wanted to give everyone some time to ask some questions if you had. And you know, Ms. Cheer said she graduated from Lorain, Southview graduate, Southview graduate, Mr. Helco, Admiral King. So, and I think Ms. Cheers, you know if Tammy graduated from Lorain too? I'm not sure. Hilaria, boo, woo boo. We're playing them in a couple of weeks, so boo. All right, so yeah, we definitely you know want to make sure that you know everyone knew that. Question? No? Okay. Yep. Does anyone have any questions? Yep. So. Yep, this concludes. So if you don't have any questions, but I know a couple of questions, so if you guys want to stay to see if that also pertains to you, that would be great. Okay, so back here in the front, I think you're wearing a gray shirt. You can say it. Yep. So a little bit of both, actually. Yeah. So you have to earn the seals to be able to graduate. If you don't show competency, then the alternative path goes through earning those seals, which you have to do already, right? Military being one of them. Either you're joining the military or ROTC, passing biology, so you can earn the science seal. You can earn an art seal. So yeah, it's a little bit of both. It's intertwined in there. Yeah. So that's what I say that the biggest challenge really is making sure we get the 20 credits, because everything else we can make it fall into place. It's the 20 credits that's really the key.
Okay, question is how do we know how many credits we've earned? If you have a question about where your child is, you could call either myself or Mr. Rivera, their school counselor. I'm not sure from the parent side, but you may also be able to get some information from Power School on that portal there. So that might be there. Might be a little bit tricky to find, but I will find that out as well. But if you have any question whatsoever, give the school a call. They'll get in contact with us. If we're not available, we'll call you right back, and it's just a couple clicks for us, and we'll be able to get you that information right away.